magic, the occult, and religion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Just News on Tuesday the 1st of May. I'm Emily Brinnand.
And I'm McCarthy. The headlines.
A second fire at Sheffield Ski Village, but bosses vow that skiing will continue.
South Yorkshire Police say the county has the most illegal cannabis farms in the country.
Braving the cold for May Day, a peak performance to welcome in the new month.
And with under 48 hours to go until referendum polls open, we have a look at the debate over whether Sheffield should have an elected mayor and visit another South Yorkshire town that already has one.
First tonight, a second fire in 3 days has broken out at Sheffield Ski Village. The main clubhouse was destroyed in a blaze that broke out in the early hours of Sunday. Just 2 days later, the ski lift control box was burnt down. Ed Jones reports.
This is what remains of the main building of the Sheffield Ski Village, which was burnt down early on Sunday morning. The fire service is still investigating the cause of the fire, but several days after the original incident, there was a suspected arson attack targeting the central controls for the ski lifts at the top of the slope. As you can see, the ski village is completely destroyed. There was an original fire early Sunday morning which destroyed the clubhouse, and then 2 days later, earlier this morning, there was a fire which destroyed the top box, which controls all the lifts and emergency stops. Now that makes the first fire and the second fire very suspicious. It's now treated as a crime scene and the police are investigating. The site is now a tangled mess of rubble and charred remains. Where once there stood a centre that housed the bowling alley and leisure and recreational facilities, now there are just some girders and damaged pipes. The former wooden structure is now unrecognisable. The police have sealed off the area and the fire service are concerned for the site's safety.
At the moment, we're not quite sure how the fire started, and a full investigation is going to take place, but I can't tell you how long that's going to be. It could be as little as 3 days, it could be as long as 3 months.
And local skiers feel they are losing more than just the ski slope.
Socially, this place was lovely, and it also had its own bowling alley, which after skiing, we often played with friends at bowling alley. They can't do that. It's also like a melting pot for new people who are introduced to the group. Like they just come and meet people and practice out there skiing here. So, if anyone wants to come up next year, then they lost a place where they can go to and learn their skiing trade.
For now, skiers and students from both Sheffield universities will have to go elsewhere. However, despite the devastation caused by both fires, management insists that skiing in Sheffield will rise from the ashes. Ed Jones, Just News, Sheffield.
Politicians, charity workers and students got together last night to have it out over whether Sheffield should have an elected mayor. The debate was held at Sheffield Hallam University in front of a live audience. It comes before Thursday's referendum, where voters will be given two choices: stay with the current system, where the councillor leader is elected by fellow councillors, or change the system, meaning the council is run by a mayor elected by voters. Jingjing Lee went to the debate.
Last night, Sheffield Hallam University hosted a live debate over whether Sheffield should have an elected mayor. The Sheffield Star organised the event to allow the public to question the main opponents and the supporters of having elected mayor in Sheffield. People from various backgrounds, including former MPs, charity workers and political activists, were among the audience. A show of hands at the start and the end of the debates showed 1/3 of the audience were in favour of an elected mayor. Kevin Marr explained the pros.
An elected mayor has the opportunity to lead a city. The power is infinite, not only because of the formal powers that they've got, but the informal powers, which are probably even as important as the formal powers. So this is the ability to lobby, to influence, to bang the drum for the city, bang on doors, take the city's message to decision makers, in the country and around the world as well, and do that with 500,000 people directly behind them. So their word is their bond.
At the same time, 2/3 were against the plan. Jack Scott explained the problems.
So the first reason is about cost. The second reason is really about power. I think it would be different because what it would do, it would put all power in Sheffield in the hands of one person who you couldn't get rid of. So you would effectively have an elected dictator who had no checks and balances on them. And I think that would be a backward step for Sheffield and for our democracy.
There will be a referendum on Thursday to make the choice between keeping the current system, where they elect councillors who then choose a leader and cabinet members, or to have a directly elected mayor. Jingjing Li, JUS News, Sheffield.
Well, another city in South Yorkshire has already opted to have an elected mayor. Doncaster is the only town in the region where the system has been tested, and on Thursday they too are having a referendum. But Doncaster voters are being asked whether they want to change back to the council leader system. Dave Rose visited the town to see what the locals there think.
Doncaster, a traditional mining and post-industrial town, was one of the first local authorities to introduce a mayoral system in 2002. Since then, there have been 2 directly elected mayors, both from outside the main political parties. The current mayor, Peter Davies of the English Democrats, has attracted criticism for the way in which his opponents say he has single-handedly tried to run the authority. So with Doncaster poised to vote this Thursday in a referendum, what do people think of the mayor and what he represents?
Do you agree with the mayoral system? Yes. Yeah. What have been the benefits for you? What can you see as you...
Well, a lot, because he's doing a lot for...
I should think so, but I don't think people are really interested in the mayor, are they? I don't know.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
We just read about him in the local newspapers and things like that, what the good things and the bad things are, you know.
People should be able to say, he's not doing a good job, we'll get rid of him.
The way the country is governed and the way that it works right from top down to bottom level, it cannot possibly work in this country.
Critics of the mayoral system say its inherent flaw is that one individual can dominate the local political agenda. And here in Doncaster, this has led to political deadlock between the mayor and the rest of the council. Despite having had a mayoral system in place for the past 10 years, it seems that local people here in Doncaster are fairly divided over whether the system has been a success or not. They'll be able to answer that question definitively, though, come Thursday, when local voters head to the polls to decide whether the mayor stays or goes. This is Dave Rhodes for JUS News in Doncaster.
Meanwhile, just 2 days before Sheffield goes to the polls in council elections, a UKIP candidate in the city has been forced out of the race by his own party. Steve Moxon was standing in Dore and Totley, but has been deselected after he wrote a blog post in August apparently sympathising with Anders Breivik, the man who killed 76 people in Norway. Council election officials say his name will remain on the ballot paper as they've already been printed. And tomorrow we'll be bringing the news from the final day of Sheffield's local election campaign.
And now some news in brief. 9 more people have been arrested in connection with the controversial Ched Evans Twitter scandal. Police in North Wales are questioning the 5 men and 4 women after Evans's rape victim was named illegally on the social networking site. 3 men were arrested in connection with the case in Sheffield last week and have been released on bail.
South Yorkshire Police have launched an investigation after the body of a 15-year-old boy was found in woodland near Barnsley last night. Police were called to Millhouses Street in Elsecar. They are not treating the incident as suspicious.
And police are still trying to recover the body of a man from the River Don at Sprotborough in Doncaster. The body was first seen on Sunday evening near Elwes Street, close to the prison complex. But high waters and a strong current have made it too dangerous for police to recover the body. South Yorkshire Police say they're continuously reviewing the conditions and will recover the body as soon as they can.
The first of 6 days of strike action by train drivers is taking place today. Members of the ASLEF union in East Midlands Trains are walking out in a row over pensions. Passengers travelling from Sheffield to London and Manchester will face a further 5 days of disruption. The next strike will be on Thursday morning.
There's been a last-minute rush for tickets to Sheffield Wednesday's promotion decider against Wycombe Wanderers this weekend. The Owls will be promoted as long as they match Sheffield United's result at Exeter. The Blades will be hoping to snatch the final automatic promotion spot should Wednesday slip up. 6,000 extra tickets were put on sale this morning following a decision to move Wycombe fans to the northwest corner of Hillsborough Stadium. And fans took just 5 hours to snap up the remaining seats. Wednesday have confirmed Saturday's match is now a sellout, and United have just announced they'll be screening their match live at Bramhall Lane for fans who can't get to Exeter.
And some breaking football news, West Bromwich Albion manager Roy Hodgson has just been confirmed as the new England manager. He'll be taking over from Fabio Capello, who quit just 2 months ago.
Now South Yorkshire's under the spotlight as a police report says the region has the largest number of illegal cannabis growing sites, with West Yorkshire a close second. John Mann reports.
Sheffield is usually known for its 7 hills, cutlery industry and being the greenest city in Europe, but a different kind of greenery is making South Yorkshire hit the headlines. According to a police report, this region has the highest number of cannabis farms per person, with 64 homegrown weed plantations for every 100,000 of us. That's a 6-fold increase in 4 years. While the figures show a growing problem for South Yorkshire, police say they're cracking down on offenders.
Certainly from a South Yorkshire point of view, I think it demonstrates that we are taking a very proactive approach to trying to identify the locations where cannabis is being illegally produced and certainly try and disrupt and dismantle any criminal gangs or organised crime groups that may be at the back of that activity and profiting from it.
But Sheffield drugs charity CRI says cannabis growing leads to other problems.
The danger of violence and the danger of crime against your own farm or your own kind of mini industry is always going to be present, as with dealing and as with the threats of other people and competition. But the other thing about growing, I suppose, is that quite often migrant workers are used in kind of highly exploitative ways.
To tackle the number of cannabis farms in South Yorkshire, police are encouraging the public to be vigilant, asking them to contact Crime Stoppers with anything suspicious on their street. This is John Mann, Just News, Sheffield.
And now let's join our weather reporter, James Mahon, who's in Sheffield for the forecast. How's it looking, James?
Not looking good here, Mike. I'm at St George's Church in Sheffield city centre. Now, this is not normally the type of weather we're used to at the beginning of May. And unfortunately, it's not going to clear up either, with more showers promised this evening and temperatures of 9 degrees. Tonight will be dry but overcast, with temperatures of 8 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow, it'll be dry and cloudy, with temperatures varying between 5 and 11 degrees Celsius. We can expect more of the same on Thursday. And let's hope things brighten up moving into the May bank holiday weekend. Back to you, Mike and Emily.
Thank you, James. Despite the weather, people have been celebrating May Day. Traditionally, it's a day of May Queens, maypoles and parties. And out in the Peak District, they've been Morris dancing. Charlotte Frost got up at the crack of dawn to join them.
It's 5:15 a.m. and hopes of a bright sunrise for the first day of May are looking pretty bleak. But all women's Sheffield Morris dancers, Peck Satan, are not deterred.
Now with this miserable weather, it's hard to believe that it's May already, but here at the Dam's Flask Reservoir, these Morris dancers are celebrating the arrival of summer.
Morris dancers all over the country have donned their bells and ribbons to perform this traditional May Day celebration.
Yeah, we know quite a lot of dances. The dances that we do are split into traditions. That's from different villages in Oxfordshire. It's dances from the village of Bucknell, which is the snappy arms. We do dances from Bleddington, which is wavy arms round in circles. There are lots of other villages in Oxfordshire that other teams do dances from as well. So there's plenty to go at.
I agreed to give it a go, and it's definitely harder than it looks. And the locals aren't impressed. The ladies practice every week, but not always in the wind and rain. The folk songs call on the sun to show its face. Here's hoping it works. This is Charlotte Frost for Just News, Morris dancing.
Perhaps Charlotte should stick to the day job?
I think you're being a bit harsh there. Stick with it, Charlotte. Now, don't forget you can catch up with these stories and more on our website. Just visit justnews.net. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle there at @just_news.
That's all from Just News. Join us again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Magic, you're called in to adjourn.